What's up, New York City? Oh my God, you guys, Meryl Streep is so good. I was sweating, I was crying, my grinder was going off. It was crazy. She's so good. All right, how's everyone feeling so far? I know we're a few hours in here. So here's the thing. Sometimes you have to hang out with straight people, okay? No one's happy about it, okay? Usually this comes in the form of a fun work dinner, or a funeral, or even worse, a bachelorette party. As if gay men haven't been through enough. But I must say, if you have to hang out with a straight person, you are not likely to find a lovelier, smarter, more loyal, more generous straight person than my friend Seth Meyers. It's true. Now, Meryl Streep is, without a doubt, one of the greatest, most impressive, most awe-inspiring artists of both the 20th and the 21st centuries. But, in his defense, Seth Meyers was widely believed to be one of the funniest guys in his improv troupe at Northwestern. And what an honor it must be for Meryl Streep to be sharing the stage with Seth Meyers tonight. Seth Meyers, a man whose success at 11:30 on Saturday nights propelled him to the 12:30 slot on a Monday. And what an honor it is for me, as a gay man, to be able to present an award to a wealthy, white, straight man who has never had to struggle a day in his life. A wealthy, white, straight man who somehow overcame a childhood plagued by merely upper-middle-class parents and a degree from Northwestern, to immediately land a job writing and starring on Saturday Night Live. But perhaps I'm not being fair to my friend and my lover of 7 years, Seth Meyers. Because here's the thing. My acting teacher at Northwestern, I also went there, except I'm much, much younger than Seth. I'm really timeless, in a way. My acting teacher used to say, this is true, Mary Poole, she was the greatest. She used to say, you should always play to the height of your intelligence. And that, my friends, is exactly what Seth Meyers is doing on his show every single night. A recent article about Seth in the New York Times illustrated just how Seth has found his voice in late night, not in cutesy, cartoonish comedy sketches, but in using his platform to speak truth to power every single time he's on the air. And not just in quick little tossed off, easily shrugged off one-liners, but in thoughtful, well-researched, nuanced, comprehensive yet still somehow hilarious ways, and in a way few other late-night hosts on broadcast networks seem to have the balls to do. He is perhaps best described as a more fuckable John Oliver. I love John Oliver. I mean, good guy. And by standing up for us and for all educated, rational, compassionate Americans, Seth and his team at Late Night have become an essential voice and a constant ally when we need it most, not just for the LGBT community, but for all women, people of color, immigrants, and every group being marginalized in our country right now by an evil, corrupt, and incompetent administration full of liars and radical extremists that I personally think are far more dangerous to our well-being than your typical Syrian refugee. So on behalf of all of us, Seth, I am truly humbled and honored as your fan and your friend and future replacement. Bob Greenblatt, are you listening, Bob? Ladies and gentlemen and everyone in between, get on your feet for the one and
Thank you so much. Billy Eichner, everybody. I want to start by thanking my friend Billy for that introduction. I feel with each passing year, more people come to the conclusion that I have proudly held for a long time, that Billy is the funniest person on television. And in this political climate where it's important to make sure our voices are heard, there's no one more prepared for the challenge than Billy, a man who got to start screaming at pedestrians on the streets of New York. He truly is a hero for our time. Yeah, people have mentioned this before, but when you do this again, Meryl Streep is the closer. She goes at the end of the night. Maybe she told you she had gardening to do. I can't believe a room full of gay people had no basic understanding of show business. To not close. You know, at the Oscars, they don't follow Best Picture with sound design. They send everybody home. When I got offered this honor, I thought there was a mistake because I am a straight white man. And then when I realized I had to follow Meryl Streep, I realized it was a trap. I should have listened to my dear friend Mike Pence. Also, they're out here listing all of Meryl's credits. My entire career, I've worked for 2 shows in one building. It's like, you remember him from both the 8th and 17th floor. Who had Ken Burns being the person tonight who would say, "Girl, she's real"? Who had that in the HRC pool? Moving on. You could say now is an important time in the fight for equality, but when hasn't it been? The reality is there's never been a time in this or any other country when the LGBTQ community has been able to say, well, that's a wrap, we're equal. Cancel the parade. On that note, if you're ever fully equal, keep doing the parade. We need the parade. We all need the parade. But this does seem like a time, and I understand that many speakers have made this point tonight, that all the progress that is made is at risk. There is no reason to think this president will be a friend to the LGBTQ community. He is upset with you because he knows the gay community was the first to recognize that the style he calls classy is actually incredibly tacky. I want to stress that I'm accepting this award on behalf of our show and the many incredible people who put it together every day. We are so appreciative of this honor, but we know that what our show does on the nights we address these issues is incredibly small compared to what an organization like HRC does, compared to what so many of the people in this room do. So for you to value our work is incredibly satisfying. And with that said, I want to sincerely thank NBC. It's one thing to have the honor of a late-night talk show bestowed upon you. It's another to have one on a network that encourages you to express your point of view and to express those views on issues you're passionate about. So I would like to thank NBC. I'd like to thank Bob Greenblatt, who's here tonight. Please, a round of applause for Bob Greenblatt. And I promise when we talk about these issues, we will try to add enough jokes so that you do not move us to MSNBC. I would like to thank my parents. I was lucky to grow up in a home where tolerance and kindness were taught and expected of you. So for me to be standing here tonight means the world to them. They would have loved to have been here tonight, but you know, when I invite them to the city, it just turns into a whole thing. You have parents, you know, it's not just about this night, it's are we getting brunch tomorrow, when? They don't know how Uber works, they want to use your account. The point is they're amazing people and I wouldn't be here without them. We have had the honor of having a few transgender guests on our show, and it's hard for me not to draw a conclusion when talking about transgender issues or interviewing transgender guests, and that conclusion is this: it does not take courage to do my job. On my best days, it requires a little bit of nerve. And nerve is no small thing, but it is very different from courage. Courage is what it takes for a transgender student to go to high school every day. I'm a white male from suburban New Hampshire, and high school was a daily mindfuck for me. I can't even begin to imagine what it's like for them, which is why it's so heartbreaking to hear that Jeff Sessions is seeking to undermine protections for transgender students. Here's hoping we can all rise to the challenge to fight for those students and their basic rights at a time when they most need it. Many of you have heard in the wake of this election that we live in a bubble, and it's true. We're in the bubble right now as we speak. The Waldorf Astoria is well inside the bubble. And the bubble caught a lot of heat after the election, and a lot of that heat was fair. It was fair, and that criticism was fair. But I'd like to close by just saying a few words in defense of the bubble. It is a place where you're free to marry who you want to marry, where you're free to have children if you want to have children, and where you're free to be the gender you identify with. It's a place, this bubble is a place where everyone, every human being is allowed to be out and proud about who they are. And it's a really great bubble. And I think that what we need to do moving on to 2018 is expressing to everyone exactly how much everyone in this bubble cares about each other and how wonderful it would be if everybody behaved that way, both inside and out. So the bubble has some work to do moving forward, but there are so many things that it gets right. I truly don't know if I deserve this honor tonight, but I promise you, moving forward, I will do everything in my power to deserve it in the future. Thank you so much.